I do, right?
Yes.
What am I?
DJ.
Right. When's the last time I saw you people?
I'm pep rally.
Pep rallies, that's right, the volleyball pep rallies. So you guys know what I do for a living, which is provide music for different things, like pep rallies here at the elementary school, of course at the volleyball game, do weddings, people are getting married, they need fun music to dance to. What was that? Bridal shows, parties, pool parties. We do a lot of pool parties in our neighborhood, and I'll play music there. So what I like to do is set up my equipment first. As you see, I just brought one speaker today. But for bigger jobs, like for the pep rally, you guys may remember, I actually had 4 speakers that day because there are going to be so many people, and we wanted it really loud. So of course, we need more speakers to make more noise. But for today's purposes, I just brought one small one. I also brought my computer. Mrs. Williams and I were just talking about music. And a long time ago, does anybody know what a record is?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have seen these big black, round plastic things
It's
called
kind
records.
of like CDs.
Kind of like CDs, a lot bigger, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was how people first started listening to music off the radio. And they were big black discs that had music on them. And that's why people call us disc jockeys. That's what DJ stands for, because they were in charge of making sure the discs went around and played the music properly. But now, as you know, more people have CDs now instead of records. Okay, and now even better than CDs, I use my computer. And as you see attached to this, I have this little blue thing right here. This is where all my music is actually now. This little thing right here has about 100,000 songs on it. So I have music from a long time ago. I have music that you hear on the radio today. And it's all on here. So if somebody comes up to me at a job and asks me, hey, can you play this really old song? I will do my best to find it, and chances are it's on here. But if I had to bring 100,000 songs on, say, CD, I would have to have 3 or 4 huge cases of CDs that I have to lug with me. Now, put it right on here, and I'm ready to go wherever I need music. And of course, now it's played off of my computer. And I have a little program here, and I can type in a song name, and it'll pull up. I'll let you guys come up and look at it in a minute. You can type in the name of a song, and it'll pull it up for you, and I can load it in. And this is kind of like, these 2 circles are kind of like where the records used to be, and you'd put one song on one side, one song on the other. So as one song is starting to end, you can start the next song. So there's no gap. It's not quiet. Kind of like on the radio, when you guys hear music, they go from one song to the next. There's not usually a gap. It just kind of goes into each other. So that's what I do on here now. And this allows me to mess with it. And I can make it faster, and I can make it slower. This is actually one of Matthew's favorite things for me to do is play with the music, okay? And what you can do, I can speed the song up.
I didn't want to move.
Or I can slow her down. Doesn't sound like Miley Cyrus, does it? There she is. Sounds like
When you slow it down, it sounds like Prince. Yeah? That may not be so good.
I like it when it went faster.
He liked the music from Idol last night.
Something else.
I like dancing.
Records. It's called scratching. That's when you make a funny sound with the record. Sometimes you spin it backwards, and sometimes you spin it forward. Well, since I don't have records, but I can still do that on a computer, and it sounds a little like this here. Sounds like you're scratching a song. How many of you actually heard a record you scratched?
Well, I hear it on TV for Festival Front.
That was just the way they were actually scratching.
So yeah, anytime people need music for big events, they will call a DJ like us and ask us to come provide music. We also, as you saw at the pep rally, I have microphones. So So I like to walk around on my microphone and talk to people and interact with people. Sometimes lead you guys in dances, like in a minute we'll probably do something maybe like the chicken dance or the cha-cha.
Sorry. Is that like your camera or something?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So, anybody have any questions so far? Yes, Jake. Or Jay, sorry.
Will you do the microphone and sing?
I don't have the microphone with me today. Trust me, you don't want me to sing. I don't think I can.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why? I can sing. What do you splash when you do that? Splash.
I just hold down the button on my mouse pad and I just kind of move it around. So,
He has a question.
Yes, sir.
Last night he watched American Idol.
Okay.
He really liked the music. I told him that was Motown.
yes.
He wants to know if you have Motown.
Absolutely, a ton of Motown. You want to hear a Motown song?
I love Motown.
Are you sure you like Motown?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let me get the bit.
Well, Barry Gordy will be very happy that you got
I'm just Matthew,
it. You also have great
This is the Temptations. Motown, Detroit, the Motor City. Sound familiar? Did you do this in American Idol?
I don't watch it. I only watch it. But this one,
It's a good dance.
okay, let's have some more questions and then maybe you'll go through and play some songs.
So I can tell you how I started DJing.
I know.
what happens in middle school?
Yeah, I know.
The most common DJs you hear, of course, are on the radio. And that's how I started. In college, one of my roommates asked me to come on the radio with him and help him pick music for a radio show. So that's how I started. It really started with me for just a love of music. I love to listen to music, all kinds of music. I always have it on in the car or in the house or wherever we're going. I like to have music playing. So that's where it really started for me, is loving music, then being on the radio. But I didn't, on the radio, you don't get to see the people who are listening. You don't get to talk to them, interact with them. And I discovered DJing out at parties and things, you can actually talk to people. People can ask me, hey, I would love to hear my favorite song. Can you play my favorite song? And that's really what I love about this, is being able to make people happy just by playing a song that they really like. Okay, so that's why I do this now. But really, it's about loving music and wanting to help people, because when I do weddings especially, I'm helping the bride and groom make sure they have a great time, everybody else has a great time. So, question, yes sir? Yes.
Can you play Michael Jackson songs?
I can absolutely play Michael Jackson in a minute. Okay.
Let's
Well, hold off on the
first,
tracks for
and
a
then
minute.
we'll do
Yeah.
some song requests.
Yeah, we'll do
okay?
some
And
song
we'll play
requests.
a little yeah.
Any DJ questions? Yes sir.
Where was your first
First.
like a big event?
My first big event, good question.
Good question.
When I was in college, my first big event, we have this thing called homecoming. And it's a big thing where all the people who used to go to that school come back and visit. There's a big football game, and at night they have big dances, and everybody comes and dances and have a good time. So my first big job was a homecoming dance at college I went to. There were about 400 people that came to dance, so that's pretty big. Normally I DJ for about 100 to 150 people. That's a normal size crowd for me. But that one was over 400 people, so that was the biggest one I ever did. I was really nervous that night too.
Oh, when you go to set up, well, let's start off by saying, when you go, you have to be on time, right?
Correct.
And what else do you need to know how to do when you get there?
Okay.
And you just
Not
go in and be
only-
like,
Not only do I have to be on time, I have to be early. Because I need to get everything set up, and then all this equipment, I have to trust that it's going to work when I turn on the switch. But sometimes it doesn't, so I have to fix things before people start arriving. That's why I have to get there early, sometimes 2 hours early, to make sure I can set everything up, hook everything up and make sure that it works. Otherwise, if I get there too late and something doesn't work, then I'm in trouble.
That's
Okay?
called being responsible,
Exactly.
right, boys and
Yep.
girls? That's right.
Because the people that have hired me are going to trust me that if they show up, I'm going to be able to play music the way they want me to, and they're going to have a good time and not worry about if there's going to be music or not. So there's a lot of trust involved in my job, and that people have, it's because you only get one chance, especially at a wedding. If something goes wrong, you don't get to go back and try it again. So you have to be just right every single time.
And prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I have extra equipment when I go. I play the music on my laptop still, but I always bring my CDs just in case, and I have a couple iPods with a lot of music on it. So if something chooses not to work, I still have backups. So, yes, Emma?
You DJ'd that thing in October.
That's right, at the end of the street for a little while. Yep, I was playing some music down there. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
What happens if you forget something?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Hopefully I don't forget something, but if I happen to forget something, depending on what it is, sometimes I can run out to like a Radio Shack or a Best Buy and get what I need if it's like a wire. Sometimes if it's maybe a microphone stand or something, the place that I'm going to perform at may have an extra one that I can borrow. Or sometimes I just have to call some of the other DJs that work with me and say, I forgot this, I need you to run this over to me. So, but luckily, since I've been doing this, I haven't forgotten anything yet. And again, as part of preparing, as Karen and Matthew, I pack way ahead of time before I leave, so I make sure I have it, and I know it's all in the car before I leave the house.
Responsibility.
So, yeah. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Jay.
Do you travel to countries because everybody calls you?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I do travel a lot around Virginia, sometimes into Maryland. I've been as far as, say, Baltimore, if you guys know where Baltimore is.
I don't know.
I've done a job in Annapolis, over by the big bridge over there. But most of the work I do is here in Prince William County, like Bristow, Gainesville, and Haymarket. But we will travel within a close range to help our customers out. So, but I don't go too far from here. So.
What about
Yes,
on the
Mrs.
other
Blake.
side of the earth?
No.
Do you need to be good at public speaking?
Absolutely.
Practice, yes.
Yes, I do. I like to, I'm comfortable, as you can see, talking and speaking with people. But yes, you have to have a very clear voice. One of the important things that I do when I do a wedding is when the bride and groom come into the big room, I announce them. And I make a big thing, and I announce their names as they come in. And it's very important for me to say their name properly, because sometimes their names aren't easy. Okay, like Mrs. Williams, that's a pretty easy name, but sometimes people have long names that are pronounced funny. So I have to practice that to make sure that when I say their name to everybody on the microphone, I say it correctly. So, so I do practice that. I meet with them and I go over that with them a lot. All right, yes, sir.
What if one of us have a card and we don't know your phone number on DJ?
Oh, well, I would pass out business cards. Hopefully people keep my card that has my phone number. But if not, you can always call Matthew and I'm sure he'll be able to find me. So, yes, ma'am.
You're gonna say the name wrong.
Well, hopefully I don't, but if not, sometimes people don't even notice. But I personally, I want to make sure I say it right. So it's more, it's really about making sure that I do it right for the customer. So, yes, sir.
How many shows, how many things,
How many jobs?
no. How many music things did you do?
And that's
like-
jobs.
like
They're
jobs
considered
or
jobs.
gigs
That's
is what I
right.
call
Yeah,
them.
gigs.
Well, I try to do almost one every single weekend.
Oh, wow.
Wedding season actually is now in full swing, so unless I'm attending a wedding like we're going to this weekend, I will pretty much be working almost every weekend between now and almost the middle of October. I try to do one job a week, sometimes two. I also have a couple other guys that work for me that do jobs as well. So, any other questions? Yes, sir. One more question, and then we'll do some.
Excuse me,
Okay.
once.
That's a great question.
Is there Caleb in here? Caleb, Mrs. Orton.